Hi folks, Kevin here. Well, it's February 11th, 2018, up on the third floor again. I'm going to be a little sweaty, it's warm, it's about 91 degrees. And so today's another episode of Ask Me Anything. Kazana wrote back after, Kazana a few months ago had asked a question about why so much infrastructure for two people, all this land, all these ponds and swales and so many buildings and all. What's the plan and all? And I'd posted a video that answered that question. Ask Me Anything. An enormous amount of infrastructure was the name of it, and that was just, I think, 2 weeks ago or so that I posted it, or 3 or 4 weeks ago that I posted that video. And Kazana responded back, and I won't read through it because it's a long comment, but it's I've really thought about your comment extensively, and you're always so complimentary. You ask great questions about what's going on here, and I understand why now. And what I want to say to you, Kazana, is I would love to see you start a YouTube channel. And I say YouTube channel because that's easier for me than a blog, somebody's written text every day. But you're going through some of the same your goals and aspirations, and some of the challenges that you face in New Zealand are similar to some of the challenges we face here. Namely, feeling that you're tied to a system where you're going to work all day long, dropping the kids off at daycare in many cases before 6 a.m. in the morning, and with us it was about 4:30 in the morning when our kids were, or about 5 o'clock in the morning because we needed to be to work at 6. And we got out of work at 6 o'clock at night, so we'd be there at about 6:30 to pick them up, and then it's rush home, do all the chores, all the things, and it was a vicious cycle. Then we changed our careers, but no matter what, both of us have always been workaholics. And at a point we decided, geez, it's really time to take care of the caretakers, to really to take care of ourselves, and to try and separate ourselves from being our dependency on outside resources. And it happened very gradually. People see what we've done so far, and people are impressed and think, there's no way we could do this. But I think even, just starting off by trying to decrease, debt is a huge issue. And you described in New Zealand having some of the same goals of increasing your own resilience, your own food sovereignty, having the fruits and nuts and berry bushes, and having good water on your property, having the ability to be able to afford whatever taxes there are. And again, I don't know that much about New Zealand. It's always been an intriguing part of the world for me. I always think of it, and often I find I'm wrong when I visit other locations. I think of it as being one of those last places that are somewhat untouched, and I'm sure that's probably not accurate. And I'm always curious about the indigenous people and how they're integrated into society as well. So I have so many questions about the challenges. There are a couple of Australian and New Zealand YouTubers that have done very well and very helpful, but I would really like to see a YouTube creator sharing their experiences from early on with trying to acquire property that's outside of the centralized unit of a highly populated area that's priced out of range, and trying to plan the whole process and set up their property, and using permaculture principles, sector analysis, all of those key elements for planning their future. It certainly is never too early, and I also believe it's never too late to work towards those goals. And I would love to see someone like you who's really shows great thought and consideration in your comments over the last couple of years. I've been very impressed, and I would love to see you create a YouTube channel so that I can see all firsthand what's going on as well. I think it would be awesome if so many people would share their experiences in different parts of the world so that we can all learn from each other and grow. That's what I'm trying to do, is share, share what we're doing, but also share my failures as much as possible so people can see it. And like you can see from my videos, failures are awesome as far as I'm concerned. There's something that's to be treasured. I look at them as stepping stones to the next level of creating a better version of myself. Shrive, I believe that's how I pronounce your name, responded to one of my Ask Me Anything comments and questions video, and had questions about what tips would I give to a beginner setting out and installing their first watershed management system. So what I'll do is I'll try and remember to post a link up there in the upper right hand corner of me going through a walk of the ponds and the swale systems, or at least sort of pointing them out. And when the weather turns nice, before I get too crazy around here, what I'll do is I'll shoot another video, and I'm going to put another video up there as well. And it's a Google Earth, excuse me, a Google Earth shot. So using Google Earth to sort of zoom in and see the property from not the drone shots, but from a Google Earth perspective, and see where I highlighted the aquatic systems, the bioremediation, the canal systems, the soil collecting systems in a different canal system I have as well. So you get an idea from those two, and then when the weather gets better, I'm going to try and shoot again. Then I'd really like some more feedback, and I always need some more descriptions of what it is that you're actually doing. It's the other place that I would mention, and hopefully you saw a video that I just recently posted, were Rob and Michelle Avis from Verge Permaculture. And if you go to that video on this YouTube channel, you'll be able to click a link to both their website and their YouTube channel. And they're both engineers and very experienced with designing permaculture sites. And right now they're doing an introductory series of at least 8 lectures going over an introduction to permaculture, and it's really taking so many of these concepts into line. And there will be a video on what's done right with swales, what's done wrong, and dealing with recharging our aquifers on site like we're doing here. And mine is quite a bit different than anything else I've seen any place with the hugelkultur pits and all that. But I would really recommend that you start, if you have the time, participate in their webinar series, because you can ask questions online to Rob, and Rob's very good about answering them. And possibly even if you're not able to attend the webinar, when he posts it on YouTube, you may be able to ask questions and they respond. They seem to be doing a lot of posting a lot of videos recently. I'm not sure what's in the works. They're probably going to be promoting some more educational opportunities or some other products, maybe books, I'm not sure. Often sites will do this sort of thing, but they're giving away so much excellent information. I think it's really worthwhile there. But back to me now. After I shoot my sort of overview of how I'm going about it, and I'll try and remember to explain why I did things the way that I did do. I'll also link up here Hugelkultur Pits, that video. And that video describes, I did some drawings that shows where how the hugelkultur pits actually retain a great deal of water subterranean. And I actually have some challenges because some parts of the land are relatively oversaturated with water as a result of me just completely recharging the whole system. It's not a problem where I'm having any moisture leaking into buildings or anything, but I actually have to raise. We're building soil so rapidly that I have to cut more spillways into areas because I'm starting to get pools of water where the soil isn't building up as quickly as some of the other areas. And today I did a walk through the food forest, a winter walkthrough, and my nephew Jim wrote me and said he read an article claiming that McDonald's French fries can cure a receding hairline, and he sent me the link as well. I don't eat fast food, and it's hard for me to believe there is anything good that can come from a sodium-filled fast food diet. What do you know about the additives? Are they adding to their fried foods as they described? And so the first thing I'd say, I'm going to do this little thing. So this is my BS detector. It was about here. Pulled the abstract for the paper that was referenced. And what they did do is they took this additive, an agent that's a defoaming agent, and it used to be used in silicone breast implants. It's used in industry. It's used in the frying of foods in many different fast food restaurants. There's lists of the fast food restaurants that use it, and I'm sure it's in many restaurants as well. People call it one of the components that's in silly putty. But what they would do is be able in vitro, in other words, like in a petri dish, to outside of the animal. In vivo is inside the animal. In vitro is outside the animal. So they took some hairless mice, and they took the hairs from other mice and some from people, and they showed that the shaft could develop with this because oxygen was penetrating through this substance and all, and I think they transplanted them onto the hairless mice as well. So what value does that stimulate? Some research and all, some positive research? It may. Whenever we see chemicals like this, they're things that I'm very concerned about. One, is it transdermal? So there wasn't any information for me to see could it go through our tissues and all. But when we take something like this, and another thing is that some reports say that at high temperatures, and of course, what's a deep fryer? High temperatures, formalin is one of the byproducts from it, so it breaks down, and that's formaldehyde, which you embalm tissues in or people in. So that potentially is a concern. But when we're talking about chemical structures, there's several phases that I worry about. One, when we ingest these chemical structures and they get to, let's say it passes through our stomach and small intestine, it makes it into the large intestine. Well, that's where all the microbes are, the microbiome. And, well, what do those microbes do to this? Do they transform this into something that is more toxic or that is easily eliminated in the stool? We don't know. Further research needs to be done, at least at that level. Then let's say it does go through our leaky gut. Our intercellular adhesion molecules are separated between our intestinal epithelial cells, and as many people who suffer from chronic inflammatory conditions, whether it's joints, head, feeling malaise, fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, all of osteoarthritis, joint issues, and I have family members who have joints replaced, and these are chronic inflammatory conditions that go on over and over and over again, and because they're such insidious disease processes, it isn't necessarily linked back to what's going on in our digestive system, and I'll have more to say about that topic as well. But let's say it gets into our circulatory system and it goes through our liver. Is it biotransformed there into what do the byproducts do at that point? So there's a lot more research that needs to be done with this. But on the positive note, let's go back to the 1950s when I was a little kid. And I can't remember, 9 out of 10 doctors, and I don't remember what the stats were, smoke Pall Malls or Camels, or John Wayne smoked, I think it was Camels, until he died of throat cancer. But when we look at it, there was good science. So we know that that smoking can potentially hinder the development of Parkinson's disease. It's been shown to alleviate some of the symptoms and potentially treat ulcerative colitis. So this is cigarette smoking. Now, I could spend the next half an hour talking about all the detrimental disease process from lung cancer to bladder cancer to all of the things where it damages our DNA. It really hastens the development of destroying our telomeres on the end of our chromosomes, which once they're gone, they're gone. And that's when we start looking real old and start becoming much more debilitated as time goes on. So there are so many things that smoking is so obviously detrimental, but it took over 3 decades for people for it to become labeled on the cigarette packages as a carcinogen. So that is a big concern for me as well. You see here Hank barking in the background. Something's moving around. I hear Thea coming upstairs. So I'm going to end the video as soon as I say one more thing. Tim's Homestead, thanks for the comment, and there will be a video coming up going through the seasons of the different food forests and talking about the differences in the food forests and really elaborating more on the challenges, because I've mentioned them in different videos, but I'll try to make sure that I review those when I go through the next videos. So thanks so much for all your comments. Kazana, think about it. Please consider doing a YouTube channel if it's at all possible. You can do it with a smartphone. I thank you all so much for contributing to the community here on this YouTube channel. Thanks so much, folks, and have a great day. Bye-bye now.